One of the latest innovations in solar thermal technology that Edward Marks introduced is Sedna Air Solar Air Conditioning System. But how is Sedna Air Solar Aircon different from other air conditioners? With Sedna Air Solar Air Conditioning System, the solar evacuated tubes are used to superheat the ozone-friendly refrigerant. This minimizes the function of the compressor, thereby reducing its power consumption. Edward Marks is committed to helping protect the environment through cost-effective, renewable energy technology. Edward Marks, leading the way in solar thermal technology.
Today on Rappler, another Rappler exclusive on the pork barrel scam. Favored NGOs corner almost half of development funds. An investment-grade status from credit rating agency Moodys may be coming soon. And Facebook surprises Wall Street by showing it can make money from folks on smartphones and tablets. Hello, we are coming to you live from the Marco Polo Hotel in Davao City, one of the most beautiful and largest cities located in the southern Philippines in Mindanao. With a population of over 1.4 million, Davao is one of the fastest growing cities in the world. One of the most popular attractions is the Kadayawan Festival, celebrated every year in the third week of August, just 4 weeks away. Kadayawan is a festival of thanksgiving for the bountiful harvest of flowers and fruits. I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network, live from Davao. In a continuing study of audit reports in the National Agribusiness Corporation, or NABCOR, from 2007 to 2011, Rappler uncovers non-governmental organizations, NGOs, with interlocking interests repeatedly getting lawmakers' funds despite unfavorable findings by state auditors. Of the 26 NGOs that got the Priority Development Assistance Funds, or PDAF, through NABCOR, 7 NGOs shared incorporators and officers with others in the list. The Commission on Audit report says the 7 NGOs got 611 million pesos, almost half of the 1.35 billion peso 26 NGOs cornered and misused. Of these 7, 2 NGOs have whistleblower Ben Hurloy as an incorporator, and officer, indicating its link to alleged public fund syndicate head Janet Lim Napoles. In all, Napoles' 4 NGOs got 12 PDAF releases through NABCOR, totaling 405 million pesos. These make up 30% of the total released to questionable NGOs. As early as its 2008 audit report, COA found, quote, there were no list of beneficiaries provided by 17 NGOs that received the pork barrel that year. Despite these deficiencies, 8 NGOs continued to get money in 2009 and 2010. In its 2011 report, COA issued a notice of suspension to all the NGOs covered in the 2009 to 2010 audit. This after NABCOR and the NGOs failed to address the deficiencies found by COA. The minority bloc of Senator Juan Ponce Enrile will meet on the 5 committee chairmanships that Senate President Franklin Drilon offered. The minority initially said it was thinking of not accepting committee chairmanships, but Senator Gringo Onasan now says it's likely the group will accept. Onasan says, we decided as a matter of principle that we will not appear to be sour graping. People might say we just don't want to work if we don't accept committees. Assistant Minority Leader Tito Soto says the group will meet next week to discuss the committee chairmanships for economic affairs, agrarian reform, social justice, welfare and rural development, housing and resettlement, and labor, employment, and human resource development. Drilon describes the committees he offered to the minority as major and relevant, despite the perception these are minor or leftover panels. A revamp is underway at the Bureau of Customs in an attempt to address President Benigno Aquino's scathing criticism of the agency. Customs Chief Rufy Biazon orders at least 17 port collectors nationwide to leave their posts so they can be reassigned. Biazon's announcement comes 3 days after Aquino slams the Bureau for its, quote, incompetent personnel. Biazon and his two deputies, Danny Lim and Juan Lorenzo Tañada, offered to resign after the State of the Nation address, but Malacanang says the president has yet to decide on whether or not to retain them. Biazon says his order does not mean the port collectors are at fault. He adds, I'm not saying it starts with them, but they have the authority to institute reforms. Rappler's editor-at-large, Marites Vitug, says the Bureau of Customs can look to its past to find ways to fix the troubled agency. Here's her video blog.
The Bureau of Customs has a long history of corruption. Various presidents have dealt with this problem. Ferdinand Marcos purged the agency of hundreds of senior officials when he declared martial law in 1972. Corazon Aquino did the same but met strong resistance, leading to legal battles up to the Supreme Court. This took attention away from the mission to reform the Bureau. Corruption was reduced during Fidel Ramos's time thanks to a strategic leader who headed the Bureau long enough to install reforms and the support of the President who insulated the Bureau from political pressure. Guillermo Paraino Jr., a graduate of the Philippine Military Academy, zeroed in on re-engineering the environment. He reduced opportunities for corruption by using technology to automate processes and minimize human intervention. History can guide Rufi Biazon. This is Marites Vitug for Vitug Vlogs.
A local court denies the application for bail of the two co-accused of fugitive retired Major General Jovito Palparan in the alleged kidnapping of two University of the Philippines students. A July 12 order by the Malolos Regional Trial Court says Army Colonel Felipe Anotado and Staff Sergeant Edgardo Osorio were not able to present strong evidence that would favor their application for bail. The court says, quote, the prosecution thus far had shown that evidence of guilt against the accused for said crimes is strong. Palparan and the two are charged with kidnapping and serious illegal detention for the disappearance of Karen Empeño and Sherlene Cadapan, the two University of the Philippines students who are missing for 7 years now. They were kidnapped by armed men in Hagonoy, Bulacan on June 26, 2006 at the height of the Arroyo administration's campaign against suspected communist guerrillas. 5 undocumented Filipinos in Saudi Arabia allegedly attempt to burn the Philippine consulate in Jeddah out of frustration over their delayed repatriation. In a press briefing Friday, Philippine Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez says the Filipinos are suspected of preparing to do damage to the consulate general in Jeddah. Saudi police apprehended the Filipinos and later released them. Hernandez says allegedly the attempt was really to dramatize the situation they're in and to compel both the consulate general and the Saudi government to repatriate them as soon as possible. Hernandez warns the group violence won't solve the problem and may delay their repatriation. The Saudi government is implementing a crackdown on undocumented workers. The deadline for workers to legalize their status is November 3. The Saudi Arabian government initially set the deadline July 3. Moodys Investor Service puts the Philippines on review for upgrade to investment grade status. 2 other major credit rating agencies have already upgraded the Philippines to investment grade this year. In a statement, the U.S. ratings agency cites the country's robust economic growth and political stability. The next highest rating on the scale is Baa3, the lowest in the investment grade ranks. The agency says the country's economic performance exceeded Moody's expectations. It credits the improvement to the reform agenda of the Aquino administration. Moodys also says an upgrade could come if there's evidence the government's debt burden will decrease and investment spending will increase. The net losses of oil and gas company Felix Petroleum Corporation widens to 225.2 million pesos in the first 6 months of 2013 from 80.5 million pesos a year ago. In a disclosure Friday, the company says the increase in net loss is due to foreign currency conversion losses. The Manuel V. Pangilinan-led company says it incurred charges of 118.86 million pesos, of which 99.15 million pesos were foreign exchange losses. Felix Petroleum is 64.7% owned by Felix Mining Corporation, the Philippines' biggest gold producer. Britain's Prince Harry promises to be a fun uncle to his nephew George. The prince says he met and cuddled his brother William's new baby, George Alexander Louis, who was born Monday at London's St. Mary's Hospital. The 28-year-old Harry jokes his babysitting services won't come cheap. When asked about his duties as an uncle, Harry says to make sure he has a good upbringing, keep him out of harm's way, and make sure he has fun. He adds, "I only hope my brother knows how expensive my babysitting charges are." The royal baby, who will be known as Prince George of Cambridge, is now third in line to the throne. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 3, speeding is seen as the main reason for the rail disaster in Spain that killed 80 people and left more than 140 injured. One of the drivers tell railway officials the train took the bend at 190 kilometers an hour, more than the 80 kilometers per hour speed limit. The train derails Wednesday as it was about to enter Santiago de Compostela station in the northwestern region of Galicia, causing carriages to pile into each other and overturn. But the International Union of Railways says it's likely other factors played a role in the crash. At number 7, scientists warn a massive leak of methane from thawing shoreline in the Arctic could devastate the world's climate and economy. Tons of the greenhouse gas are locked in the frozen shelf of the Arctic Ocean, which warms when summer sea ice retreats. One scientist describes the threat as, quote, an invisible time bomb. The damage to the climate system could be reflected in worse floods, droughts, storms, and heat stress. Researchers say 80% of the effects would occur in poorer economies in Africa, Asia, and South America. And at number 8, Facebook surprises Wall Street by showing it can make money from folks on smartphones and tablets. Following the beating it took after its initial public offering, the social network's stock prices skyrocket after its latest financial report. In the quarter that ended June 30th, revenue climbs to $1.81 billion, up 53% from the same period a year ago. Facebook says 41% of its ad revenues come from mobile. Facebook is looking at mobile services as lifestyles increasingly revolve around accessing the internet from mobile devices. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel, and your vote comes down to the mood navigator that's in the middle of the front page that crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories with the most votes on the meter. These are the 10 stories that have affected our readers the most emotionally. The story that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours period is this, the largest circle in the middle. On Tuesday, the State of the Nation address made our readers happy. So happy that all 10 of the top stories were green. People were happy. Now, our readers are still visiting our State of the Nation address page. 60% are happy, 13% inspired. But the tide has turned this week, slowly turning red or angry. The story that's affected our readers the most today is our top story on the pork barrel scam, the Rappler exclusive. 83% angry on almost half of PDAF goes to favored NGOs. Yesterday's exclusive, pork barrel queen parties with Solon, leaves 90% angry. All that contributing to the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. Well, hopefully people don't stay angry. It is the weekend. That is Rappler's Newscast for today, Friday, July 26, 2013. We are coming to you live from the Marco Polo Hotel in Davao. Remember, visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today. But hold on. Go to Shift Davao tomorrow in Davao City. Good night.